Why aren't there more assassination of dictators? Dictators spend millions of dollars on security to protect against assassination. In the end, the assassin is almost guaranteed to get caught, so for one, it's high risk, and two, the number 2 guy they've set up takes office, their views are similar to the guy they just killed. Dictators tend to surround themselves with loyalists. Even then, though, they're notoriously paranoid for that exact reason. 1. It's a suicide mission, which severely limits the number of willing participants. 2. Those who might have the capability to pull it off without it being a suicide mission are nation-states-state actors. And this is a Pandora's box that most national leaders of nation-states don't wish to open. The reason, of course, is that it opens the door to reprisals on the decision-maker himself. There are exceptions. Putin has attempted to assassinate Volodymyr Zelensky. https://en.am.wikipedia.org/wiki/assassination_attempts_volodymyr_zelensky on numerous occasions. Earlier, he poisoned Viktor Yushchenko. https://www.usa.com/story/news/politics/2022/03/former-Ukrainian-president-poison/93336050002/ in an attempt to assassinate that Ukrainian president. There is also the famous letter to Stalin from Tito. https://history-collection.com/Josie P. Broz-Tito-Yugoslavia-leader-survived-waves-Stalin-Hitler's-best-troops/ in which he wrote, "Stop sending people to kill me. If you don't stop sending killers, I'll send one to Moscow, and I won't have to send a second." After which, Stalin apparently stopped sending killers. Edit. Better choice of words. Your friend's mom was right. It's not that simple. Not only is it difficult to assassinate people, but it's not even worthwhile. Assassinations aren't a tool for making things better, they're a tool for making things worse. If you want things to be worse then they can be very powerful and useful tools. But if you want things to be better, then you are barking up the wrong tree. Picking only the people you mentioned? Saddam was a billionaire. Kim Jong is a billionaire many times over. He utterly owns a country that produces $50 billion a year of stuff. Putin is a billionaire many times over. He has full control over far more money than Bezos or Musk. His house was close to $2 billion. And instead of I spend $20 million a year on personal security of most American billionaires, Saddam, Kim Jong, Putin, they have literal armies at their disposal. Or, Putin's Russia spends about $80 billion a year on the military, and if any more protection was needed for Putin to be safe, he could draw up that budget yearly. Generally, the only thing taking out a dictator is a full coup or a successful revolution, or getting into a war ending badly enough that you lose your capital city. Also, a nuclear-armed dictator who has never lost their capital, and North Korea and Russia are both nuclear powers. They surround themselves with security measures, bodyguards, bulletproof glass, etc. You couldn't just walk up to most dictators, much less with a gun. It's not actually a guarantee that an assassination attempt works. There were multiple attempts on Hitler, which didn't work. There were multiple attempts to assassinate Castro, which didn't work. Someone walked right up to Ronald Reagan and shot him. He didn't die. I know he is not technically a dictator, but someone did try to assassinate him. Same for Pope John Paul II. If it works, there's likely someone similar ready to take their place. You just get a new dictator. Whether it works or not, the assassin is going to die. Most people don't want to do that. There is also the argument that your opinion of a dictator might not be another's. Dictators and other world leaders are antagonized as much as they are protagonized. It all depends on your point of view. And if someone with absolute power is assassinated, that just creates a power vacuum. And from past American interventions have shown, power vacuums from absolute power regimes don't tend to go in the favor of anyone. Solid Snake is not that solid in reality, cause they haven't made an Assassin's Creed set in contemporary times yet. There is one positive thing about dictators. While a dictator is in power, hate is focused on one person. Tito, Saddam, al-Assad, Gaddafi. After the demise of the dictator, the country falls apart and local hates bloom in full force. Yugoslavia, Iraq, Sudan, Syria, Libya, etc. Why wasn't the dictator killed earlier? Because everybody was happy concentrating just on hating one person and the country held together. Dictators kill of everyone they don't trust. That's the first thing, and afterwards fear will fend off everyone of trying. Everyone else is a sheep. Most large and or developed countries have special forces capable of taking out a dictator such as Putin or Kim Jong-un, but doing so without being captured or killed afterwards is not very likely. And when they discover who is behind the assassination, how will they react? Russia is estimated to have around 6,000 nuclear warheads, and North Korea a handful. Another problem is that these dictators may be real dictators, holding all of the power and deciding every devious action of the country in question, but they might also just be a public face brand of the regime that stays unharmed by such an attack, and will continue their devious behavior without being impacted by the assassination. They tend to kill or jail anyone who is not on their side. To everyone else, someone trading their life for the worst person seems reasonable. For that one person, it's the highest decision in the world. They also have doubles. People who've had plastic surgery to look like them. Saddam Hussein had several. But they got him in the end, so there is hope, because most people that have the ability to assassinate these dictators do not have a willingness to do so simply because they benefit by maintaining the status quo. And those that do have a willingness to assassinate these dictators do not have the ability to do so simply because the dictator is surrounded by the people I mentioned above. Dictators typically spend millions on enormous amounts of security, tend to be extraordinarily paranoid because they know everyone wants them dead, and so are hyper-cautious about every tiny thing, and oftentimes have a person set up to take over after them who has basically the same or very similar views. And number X200B. What this means is that an assassin is practically guaranteed to get caught, and even if they don't, they'll be trying to lay traps for the most paranoid person around, hoping they'll slip up. Spoiler: they won't, and even if they somehow don't get caught and tortured to death, and if on top of that they somehow manage against all odds to somehow succeed, it would achieve nothing because the next person would take over and things would remain the same. Because, as much as it has happened over the course of history, it is still insanely difficult to go through with assassinating someone of such high power. And it's even more difficult to actually successfully do it. It's incredibly difficult. Just ask Fidel Castro, who survived multiple CIA assassination attempts. If the CIA can't do it, the chances of an ordinary citizen doing it are remote. Besides, who would have the motivation? Maybe the next in line? Despite all the millions that go into security for any leader, I'm still surprised that there aren't more mentally unstable military or security personnel who just say, F it, and off the person they're supposed to be protecting, kind of like suicide by police. If someone truly thinks that the most patriotic thing they can do to serve their country is to get rid of the leader, why doesn't it happen more often? Even if security personnel go through extensive mental health screenings, it still seems like someone can fake it. And what if someone realized they are dying? Maybe they have an untreatable tumor, but they still have the stamina to carry out their security job.